There was one prof who said in class that people who are quiet are weak, and that... Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is about my biggest university regrets. There are 5 things I would have done differently in university if I had the opportunity to go back. If I could rewind time, take a time machine, go back to 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old Alexandra, I would like slap her in the head and be like, what are you doing? So these are my biggest university regrets, and I'm hoping that by sharing these, you guys won't make some of the same mistakes or have the same regrets when you finish university, because honestly, a lot of these were a big waste of time and really dumb on my part. So hopefully you're not making these mistakes already, and if you are, maybe this video will help you realize that you're gonna regret it in the future. Don't forget to subscribe for advice and lifestyle videos every single week. With that being said, let's get started. So my very first regret is a huge one, and so many people go through this, but basically it's that I really regret wasting so much time on people who couldn't care less about me. This was something I was really bad at when I was younger. In high school, I was kind of like, take me as I am. I don't really care if you like me or not. And then I don't really know what happened when I transitioned from high school to university. Something my brain must have clicked differently, where I really ended up wasting so much time on people that would never waste their time on me. One thing in specific that I'm so embarrassed about, I'm embarrassed to even talk about it, was in my very first year, there was this guy that I had a crush on. If you're subscribed to my channel, you probably heard me talk about this guy before in other videos. It's the same guy, guys. So basically, I had a crush on him, and it's not completely my fault because he definitely led me on. This is a story for another day to go in depth on what this guy did and how he was, but the dumbness that I did when I was in first year. I basically got a message from him just before reading week in February, and generally when I had reading weeks or holidays or anything like that where I had a long break, I would usually go back home and visit my family, visit my sister, and just hang out there. But he messaged me a few days before the week was starting, and he said, "Oh, we should really hang out during reading week." So I'm like, oh my gosh, he wants to hang out with me. So the naive person that I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay for reading week and wait till he messages me to hang out, and then the day after we hang out or whatever, I'll go back home and see my family. So I'm sitting here all alone in my residence. My roommate left, she went home to her family. I was just sitting there, literally nothing to do. Nobody is in the residence, everybody went home. I'm the dummy that stayed there, and I'm just waiting. I let a day go by, he never messages, so I decide I'm gonna message him. So I message him and I'm like, hey, when did you want to hang out? I'm pretty much free whenever because I'm just studying, which I definitely was not studying. I was like sitting there waiting for him to message me. So literally a day passes, 2 days pass, and I'm like, what is going on? This guy has not even responded to my message. Like, what the hell? I probably should have gotten the sign that he didn't answer me like within the same day, but again, wasting my time on people that couldn't care less about me. So literally he ended up never messaging me, and then I saw him after reading week when I came back to school, and I said to him, like the most blunt person ever. I walked up to him and I'm like, don't ever R-bomb me again. And like walked away. Like the most dramatic person on the planet. Oh my god, it's so embarrassing. I was so young and naive. Which apparently he had gone to Montreal over reading week, which I went to school in downtown Toronto. So if you don't know, that is in a whole different province. So he literally went like, I don't even know how long it takes, like an 8-hour drive or something to get to Montreal. So he was nowhere near, and I was sitting there waiting for literally nothing. So that was something else. So basically, just looking back now, I realized you just gotta live your life, do what you need to do, and if people fit into that, then they do. If they don't, then it sucks to be them. And if you're doing the same thing right now where you're waiting around for somebody, whether that be a boy, a friend, anybody, please don't do it. I'm urging you to please rethink it. I know it's hard to think ahead to the future and realize what you're doing, and in the moment it might seem like the right thing, but honestly, nobody deserves for you to wait around for them. If they want to be there, they'll be there. So I really hope you take this advice if you're somebody out there that is struggling with this right now. Another one of my big regrets is forgetting to have fun. University is an experience of a lifetime, or college, whichever one you're in, and you're never going to get that back again. But after my first year, which I had tons of fun in my first year, so I could check that off the list, but after that first year, I stopped having any fun. And I'm not saying you need to go out and party every night, but I became so focused in my second year to my fourth year on doing well in school, getting jobs or internships, and working really really hard at those, networking, everything that you could possibly think of to try and advance my career, but I literally never took a breath. And specifically in my 4th year, I was holding a full-time job with a really big company while also holding a full-time school schedule. So I would literally go to my job, which was 9 to 5, and it took me an hour and a half to get there in the first place. And then right after work, I would rush all the way back to campus so that I would be on time for my night classes. And then I also had day classes that I had to miss some, and then I'd try to catch up on it and do extra schoolwork and readings and teach myself the course. And it was honestly like insanity. That was the craziest, busiest I had ever been, and I wish I just took a moment on the weekends to breathe, but I didn't. So if you're going through this, try to remember that university is an experience, and if all you do is work, 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 you're going to end up miserable. So make sure to have a good balance. Don't only do fun, don't only do work, try to have both, and then I'm sure you'll leave university without wishing you had more fun. Another one of my big regrets from university was letting what people said affect me. Now, this one was a big one, and honestly, I feel so sorry for younger Alex. Like, I look back and I feel so sad for her that she felt this way, that she would let people's words that they said about her affect her. Like, if I could just go back and shake her and be like, what are you doing? But I know in specific, there was one prof who said in class to everybody that people who are quiet are weak, and that bothered me for my entire 4 years of university, because I'm just naturally a quiet person. I'm quiet when I'm in like a group, but when you get to know me, I'm probably going to be the loudest one there. I'm kind of an introverted extrovert. Is that what it's called, or is it the other way? Whatever. I'm that kind of person. And when she said that, let me tell you, that affected me mentally so much. I don't know why I let that bother me, but I was like questioning myself. I'm like, am I weak? I've always thought of myself as a very strong person. And then this woman in my very first year said this. It just ate away at me year over year. I was always in the back of my mind thinking, don't be quiet because then you're weak. Don't be quiet because then you're weak. So that was a lesson that I had to learn kind of the hard way, that why am I listening to this person and why am I letting their words affect me? Because what they think really doesn't matter. What I think of myself is what should matter. And that wasn't the only incident. There were incidents throughout all of my university. I let it affect me, and I let it bother me, and I let it keep me up at night, and I questioned myself, which is the thing that bothers me the most, because in high school I was a very confident person. I knew what I was capable of, and then when I went to university, I don't know why that all just like crumbled, but it started affecting me. So that really sucked, and it would suck to go through. So I really hope that if you're watching this video and you're going through the same thing where what people say about you bothers you and eats away at you and lowers your self-confidence, I hope that you will try your best to not let these words bother you, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what any of these people say. What matters most is what you say and think about yourself. So don't let people's words affect you, because trust me, it's not worth it. Another one of my biggest regrets from university was being a grade grubber. I don't know if that's what people are calling it these days, but back when I was in high school, elementary school, everybody called it grade grubbing. And it's basically when you get a grade, let's say you get a 78, and you go to the prof for those 2 extra percent to get to the 80, or if you're at an 84 or an 83, you go and ask to get to an 85. Like, you're just always grubbing, I guess. Is that what that word means? You're grubbing. This is the action that I'm feeling for grubbing. You're grubbing towards your teacher to get a higher grade, even if it's just 1 or 2%, because you're just obsessed with grades and getting as high grades as possible. And the reason why I regret this is because I realize now that I was conditioned so much in elementary school and in high school to think that school is all about grades. Grades, grades, grades. And I realize now I was really valuing my intelligence through those grades. Like, when I got a good grade, if I got like a 90 on an assignment, a 95, something like that, I'm like thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I'm so smart. If I got a 75, if I got an 80, I'm like freaking out. I'm starting to question my intelligence. So if you were like me and you were that person that was always going to the prof when you got an 88 because you needed it to be a 90, you had to see that it was a 90 in order to go to sleep that night, then here's some words of advice. There is so much more to university than numbers. There are so many things that are important to succeeding in your program and to graduating with a job, like networking, internships, relationship building, literally just learning. Those are so much more important than the numbers. So I really hope that you will keep that in mind and try to do your best and focus on that instead of worrying about the numbers. The last regret that I have from university is not introducing myself to all of my profs. So this is a bit of a more kind of, what do I call it? Relationship building kind of advice tip thing. So the reason why I regret this one is because I look back now and I realize I don't really talk to any of my profs anymore. And I know some of my old classmates are in really close touch with some of our old profs, and those profs offer them job opportunities when they come up. They keep in touch and just mentor them and give them advice. And I wish I had that with one or a few of my profs. And really that's my fault, because in my very first year I was very keen on it. I said, I'm gonna introduce myself to every single one of my profs. They're gonna know who I am. And then I got really lazy by second year, and I never did it anymore from second to fourth, so that was kind of my fault. And I realize now that there's so many great relationships that I could have built, and you never know what can come from literally just an introduction. You could really hit it off with somebody and they could end up being a great mentor for you throughout your entire career. So if you're looking for some advice on how to kind of advance yourself in terms of your career and education and that side of things, then I would definitely say introduce yourself to all of your profs, just because you never know what can come from it. The world is all about who you know and what connections you have. So the more people that you have relationships with and the more people you have on your side, the better. Well, that's it guys. Those were the 5 things that I would have done differently in university if I could go back and change it all now. Those were my biggest university regrets, and honestly those were great lessons for me to have moving forward in the rest of my life, so now I won't make those same mistakes. But I hope that by watching this video this will help you guys avoid some of the mistakes that I made and hopefully not have the same regrets when you leave university too. So if you're looking for more videos on university advice or just life advice, I have a bunch of videos giving advice, so I will link those down below, and at the end of the video there's one video in particular. I did a video on things I wish I knew before university, so you should probably check that one out too if you like this video. So I will link that down below and at the end of the video. But aside from that, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below and let me know if any of my regrets are things that you're doing right now in university, and I will respond to all of your comments and give you some advice if you have any questions. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and the notification bell, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos on university and life advice. See you guys next time. Bye.